For more than 4 decades, Diane Lane has built a career unlike most actors of her generation. She never relied on constant publicity, dramatic reinventions, or a carefully manufactured image to remain relevant. Instead, she became known for something far more difficult to achieve in Hollywood: authenticity. Her characters often carried a quiet sadness beneath their polished appearances. They were women who smiled through uncertainty, who carried private disappointments, and who searched for meaning when life did not unfold the way they expected. What audiences saw on screen was often a reflection of the emotional honesty Lane brought from her own experiences. Born on January 22, 1965 in New York City, Diane Lane entered life surrounded by creativity, but also by instability. Her parents separated when she was only a baby, and her childhood was shaped by constant change. She spent much of her early life with her father, Burton Lane, a man who worked as an acting coach and theater teacher, while also driving a taxi to support them. Their life together was unconventional, filled with conversations about art, performance, and human nature, rather than traditional routines. They moved frequently, sometimes staying in residential hotels, and Diane learned to adapt quickly to unfamiliar surroundings. That childhood forced her to become observant at a young age. She learned to study people, understand emotions, and find stories hidden beneath ordinary moments. Those skills would later become the foundation of her acting career. Long before she became a Hollywood star, Diane Lane was already learning the most important lesson an actor can know. Understanding people begins with truly watching them. A child performer who entered fame before she was ready. Diane Lane's introduction to acting happened remarkably early, almost as if the stage had always been waiting for her. Growing up around theater through her father's work, she became comfortable performing in front of others, while many children her age were still discovering their interests. At only 6 years old, she appeared in productions at the experimental theater scene in New York, gaining attention for her natural confidence and emotional intelligence. But her life changed dramatically when she made her film debut at just 13 years old in the 1979 romantic drama, A Little Romance, appearing alongside the legendary Laurence Olivier. Her performance as a young girl experiencing first love captured the attention of audiences and critics, and suddenly a teenager who had barely entered Hollywood was being described as one of the industry's most promising new talents. The attention came quickly. She appeared on magazine covers, received comparisons to classic Hollywood stars, and was introduced as the next major young actress. But behind the excitement was a young person trying to understand a world that moved far faster than she did. Fame arrived before she had the chance to experience a normal adolescence. While other teenagers were worrying about school and friendships, Diane was navigating movie sets, interviews, and expectations placed on her by an industry that wanted her to become a star. By her late teens, she had already worked with some of the most respected filmmakers of the era, including Francis Ford Coppola, who cast her in films such as The Outsiders and Rumble Fish. Those experiences helped shape her craft, but they also created a complicated relationship with fame. Hollywood saw a beautiful young actress with enormous potential, but Diane Lane was searching for something deeper. She did not want to simply be admired, she wanted to be understood as a serious artist. The struggle between stardom and finding her own identity. The early years of Diane Lane's career were filled with opportunities, but they also came with expectations that could have limited her future. By the time she reached adulthood, she was already recognized internationally, financially successful, and frequently discussed as one of Hollywood's most promising young stars. Yet the industry often focused more on her appearance and personal life than on her abilities as an actress. Like many young performers who become famous quickly, Lane found herself placed into a category that did not fully represent who she was. She was often seen as Hollywood's ideal romantic figure, the beautiful young actress who could easily become a symbol rather than an artist. Instead of accepting that image, she began searching for roles that challenged her emotionally. There were moments when her career slowed, and she stepped away from the spotlight to regain control over her life and choices. That decision was not always easy. Hollywood often rewards constant visibility, and disappearing from public attention can be risky for any actor. But Lane valued personal growth more than maintaining a constant presence. She returned with a stronger sense of herself, choosing projects based on the characters rather than the size of the role or the amount of attention it would bring. This period helped her move beyond the expectations created by her early fame. She was no longer interested in being remembered simply as a beautiful young actress from the past. She wanted to explore complicated emotions, flawed characters, and stories that reflected real human experiences. That patience became one of the defining qualities of her career. While many performers chase trends, Diane Lane built a reputation by waiting for roles that felt meaningful. Her journey became less about staying famous and more about creating work that lasted. The role that changed everything, Unfaithful and career recognition. After years of steady work and personal growth, Diane Lane reached a career milestone that transformed how audiences and critics viewed her. In 2002, she starred in Unfaithful, a psychological drama that allowed her to reveal a depth and vulnerability that many had underestimated. She played Connie Sumner, a woman whose seemingly perfect life begins to unravel after an unexpected encounter changes the way she sees herself and her marriage. The role required emotional complexity because Connie was not written as simply a victim or a villain. She was a person experiencing confusion, loneliness, desire, regret, and the consequences of her choices. Lane approached the character with honesty rather than judgment, allowing audiences to understand the emotions behind every decision. One of the film's most memorable moments involved a long, intense sequence on a train where Connie struggles silently with her emotions. The power of the scene came from what was not spoken. Lane's expressions and body language communicated an entire inner conflict without relying on dramatic dialogue. Her performance earned widespread praise and brought her a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actress. More importantly, it changed the conversation around her career. She was no longer viewed only as the talented young actress from decades earlier. She was recognized as a mature performer capable of carrying deeply emotional stories. Following Unfaithful, Lane continued exploring characters who represented women facing major turning points in their lives. In Under the Tuscan Sun, she portrayed a writer rebuilding herself after personal disappointment and discovering a new sense of independence. The film connected with audiences because it reflected a universal truth. Sometimes life's unexpected changes can become opportunities for reinvention. A private life filled with love, challenges, and personal growth. While Diane Lane's professional life unfolded in front of cameras, she always tried to keep her personal world protected from unnecessary attention. Her relationships became public because of her fame, but she rarely allowed the media to define her story. In 1988, she married French actor Christopher Lambert after meeting while working in the film industry. Their relationship brought them together during a period when both were navigating busy careers and international attention. The couple welcomed their daughter Eleanor in 1993, and although their marriage ended the following year, they maintained a respectful relationship over time. For Diane, motherhood became one of the most important parts of her identity. She often spoke about the importance of being present for her daughter and creating a sense of stability that she herself had not always experienced growing up. Years later, she entered another high-profile relationship with actor Josh Brolin, whom she married in 2004. Their marriage attracted significant public attention, partly because both actors were well-known figures in Hollywood. The relationship faced challenges over the years, and they eventually separated before finalizing their divorce in 2013. Through all of these experiences, Lane remained careful about what she shared publicly. She did not use personal struggles as a way to remain in headlines, choosing instead to handle difficult moments privately. That approach reflected the same quality that defined many of her film roles: strength without unnecessary performance. Diane Lane's life has never been a perfectly smooth journey, but perhaps that is exactly why she has connected so deeply with audiences. She understands that people are complicated, that happiness and pain often exist together, and that every person carries stories that are not immediately visible. Those lessons have continued to shape both the actress and the woman she has become. The courage to be honest in a world obsessed with perfection. As Diane Lane moved deeper into adulthood, she continued to separate herself from the expectations that often follow Hollywood stars. While many celebrities carefully manage every detail of their public image, Lane developed a reputation for being thoughtful, selective, and remarkably honest when she did choose to speak. She never appeared interested in creating a perfect version of herself for public approval. Instead, she embraced the reality that life includes mistakes, uncertainty, and moments that do not fit neatly into a polished story. One of the most discussed moments of her personal life came when she openly acknowledged that, like many people, she had experienced complicated emotions and difficult choices in relationships. Her willingness to admit imperfections surprised some people because audiences had become accustomed to seeing her portray characters who were often the emotional center of a story. Yet that honesty reflected something deeper about Lane's personality. She understood that being human meant accepting contradictions. A person could be strong and vulnerable at the same time. Someone could make mistakes and still continue growing. Rather than turning personal experiences into public drama, Lane chose reflection over explanation. She stepped away from the constant pressure to defend every decision and allowed time to provide perspective. That same approach appeared throughout her career. She rarely chased the loudest opportunities or the biggest headlines. Instead, she trusted her instincts and waited for roles that connected with her emotionally. Her ability to remain grounded in an industry built around appearances became one of her greatest strengths. Diane Lane's appeal was never based only on beauty or fame. It came from the feeling that audiences were watching a real person. Whether she was playing heartbreak, hope, regret, or resilience, she brought a sense of truth that made fictional characters feel deeply recognizable. A career built on emotion rather than recognition. Although Diane Lane received major critical recognition for Unfaithful, including an Academy Award nomination, she never measured her success solely through trophies or awards. Hollywood often places enormous importance on winning, but Lane's career has always been defined more by the emotional impact of her performances. She became an actress respected for the way she portrayed ordinary human struggles with extraordinary sensitivity. Her characters were rarely perfect. They were often people searching for answers, dealing with disappointment, or trying to understand themselves during moments of change. That ability allowed her to connect with audiences across different generations. Over the years, she continued taking on a wide variety of roles, from romantic dramas to political stories and television projects. She appeared in films such as Nights in Rodanthe, Secretariat, Cinema Verite, and Trumbo, proving that she could move between genres while maintaining the same emotional honesty. Her television work also introduced her to new audiences. In recent years, she earned praise for her performances in major series and limited projects, including her role in Capote vs. the Swans, which brought her another wave of attention and an Emmy nomination. Rather than slowing down, Lane continued exploring challenging material that allowed her to grow as an artist. She never became defined by one famous role because her career was built on evolution. Every decade brought a different version of Diane Lane, the young performer discovering fame, the actress searching for independence, the mother balancing personal responsibilities, and the mature artist exploring deeper stories. That ability to change while remaining authentic has been one of the reasons her career has lasted so long. She did not survive Hollywood by staying frozen in time. She survived by allowing herself to grow. Motherhood, family, and creating a life beyond the spotlight, away from movie sets and public appearances, Diane Lane has always placed great importance on her role as a mother. Her daughter, Eleanor Lambert, became the center of her personal life, and Lane has often spoken about how motherhood changed her understanding of responsibility, love, and patience. Having experienced an unpredictable childhood herself, she wanted to create a different environment for her daughter, one built around support and stability. Eleanor eventually pursued her own creative path, working as a model and writer while developing an identity separate from her famous parents. Lane has expressed pride in watching her daughter build her own life, rather than simply following in the footsteps of Hollywood expectations. Their relationship represents one of the quieter successes of Diane's life. While the entertainment industry often celebrates professional achievements, Lane has repeatedly suggested that family has been one of her greatest sources of meaning. Her connection with Eleanor also reflects the personal growth she experienced over the years. The young actress who once entered Hollywood before fully understanding herself eventually became someone who valued emotional balance and personal connections above constant attention. Lane has also been open about the process of aging, particularly in an industry that often places unrealistic pressure on women to remain unchanged. Instead of seeing aging as something to hide, she has spoken about accepting the marks of experience as evidence of a life fully lived. For her, every line and every change represents memories, challenges, and moments that shaped who she became. This perspective has allowed her to approach aging with confidence rather than fear. Diane Lane's beauty has always been connected to more than appearance. It comes from the depth of someone who has experienced life, learned from it, and carried those lessons into every role she plays, returning to the spotlight while staying true to herself. In recent years, Diane Lane has continued proving that longevity in Hollywood does not require chasing every opportunity. She has remained active by choosing projects that interest her rather than simply maintaining visibility. Her appearances in major productions, including Netflix's adaptation of A Man in Full, showed that her presence still carries the same emotional power that audiences have admired for decades. She has also continued exploring new challenges, including joining the cast of upcoming projects that allow her to work alongside younger generations of performers. What makes Lane's career unique is the consistency of her approach. She has never attempted to recreate the energy of her early fame or compete with changing trends. Instead, she has allowed herself to move naturally through different stages of life and artistry. Her performances today carry the perspective of someone who has experienced decades of change, both personally and professionally. That perspective adds layers that cannot be manufactured. A younger actor can portray sadness or wisdom, but Diane Lane brings the understanding of someone who has actually lived through complicated emotions. Her career is also a reminder that success in Hollywood does not always look like constant awards, viral moments, or endless headlines. Sometimes, success means having the freedom to choose meaningful work, maintain personal values, and continue creating after many years in an unpredictable industry. Lane's journey has been built on patience. She allowed herself time to grow, recover, change direction, and discover the kind of artist she wanted to become. In an entertainment world that often celebrates quick fame, her career represents something more lasting: the power of authenticity. She has remained relevant not because she followed every trend, but because she stayed connected to what made her special from the beginning. Diane Lane's legacy, a career defined by grace and truth. Looking back at Diane Lane's journey, what stands out is not just the number of films she has appeared in or the famous names she has worked alongside. What stands out is the emotional honesty she has brought to every stage of her life. From a childhood shaped by uncertainty to becoming one of Hollywood's most respected performers, Lane's story has always been about transformation. She entered the industry as a young girl whose talent was recognized almost immediately, but she spent decades proving that she was much more than a childhood discovery. She became an actress capable of portraying the complicated realities of adulthood: love, disappointment, reinvention, loneliness, courage, and hope. She never needed to create controversy to remain memorable. She never needed to constantly remind audiences of her achievements. Her work spoke for itself. The women she portrayed on screen often reflected the same qualities she carried in real life: quiet strength, emotional intelligence, and the ability to continue moving forward even when circumstances became difficult. At this stage of her career, Diane Lane represents a rare kind of Hollywood success. She is not defined by a single award, a single relationship, or a single performance. She is defined by decades of dedication and a willingness to remain honest in an industry that often rewards illusion. Her story is not about perfection. It is about resilience. It is about accepting every chapter, including the difficult ones, and allowing those experiences to create something meaningful. Diane Lane's legacy comes from the simple but powerful truth that authenticity never goes out of style. After more than 40 years in Hollywood, she remains an actor audiences trust because she has always brought one thing to every role: a genuine understanding of what it means to be human.